Recording.
Thank you again. Yes, you can introduce yourself if you want.
Can you later turn off your microphone because I'm hearing myself back? So whenever we start like chatting, I think it's better to turn the microphone on, but
Okay.
later.
Yes. Claro, porque, okay. Okay, now I shut my microphone down.
Okay. You can turn it on whenever you want, but as I'm speaking, it's better not to hear myself back. Okay. Good morning, good evening in Berlin. Good morning here in Latin America. This is going to be recorded. Today is Friday, the 24th of May. I'm so very honored and glad and happy to be here to be sharing about my personal experiences on lucid dreaming and how that gave me the opportunity to start exploring astral projection, or viaje astral, as we call it, like astral trip in Spanish. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you so much, Carla and Eli. We've been meeting online for the past month and a half. It's been an honor and a pleasure to meet you guys, share about our experiences and our compromise to this kind of perspective on life, which is we're not only having life experiences during our wake up times or consciousness, but consciousness transcends into unconsciousness and while we're dreaming, which tells us a lot. Well, here's Maki. Which tells us a lot about ourselves and our collective experience as a human experience. So let me introduce myself to all of you here in synchronic time and asynchronic time too. My name is Carla Ortiz Rocha. I am from Chile, but I've been living in Buenos Aires, Argentina since 2008. So it's been almost 2 decades here. I really love this country and this culture. And it was during my time here, in 2015, that I started having conscious waking up experiences in while dreaming, which is it was very weird at the beginning, but at the same time I've been having paranormal experiences since I was born. So I guess it's yet another category in all my paranormal experiences. What else? So this all started when I began the practice of yoga nidra, which could be translated into English as yogic sleep. It's usually done after a physical, energetically active physical practice of yoga, and then during the asana called shavasana, which is the corpse pose, we start doing the yoga nidra practice, which is a guided meditation, and you can find very free online guided meditations focusing on yoga nidra on YouTube, any kind of platform. And I can also share what I was doing, which is a very specific one. I have it online for whoever that's listening here now or asynchronically later. I can share the links so you can have this guided yoga nidra meditation. So as we've been talking with Carla and Eli, I'm a very disciplined person. So when I started doing yoga nidra, I did it very like many times a day, after waking up, before going to sleep, during nap time, when I was anxious and I wanted to do yoga nidra, I did it. So it was a constant daily practice, and that really helped me in really knowing how to relax my body, even before knowing somatic practices, which I'm going to talk about that later in this talk. The consciousness of focusing mentally, emotionally, energetically and physically on one single part of your body and really make that area conscious in terms of how to relax it or how to recognize it. Is it tense? Is it relaxed? What's there emotionally? What's there in memory wise, muscularly, fascia wise, So that really helped me to learn how to relax and to be in my body. And for whoever has experienced yoga nidra before or now that probably want to start doing yoga nidra, you will learn that first we dissociate in the best kind of way. Like, how can we feel our fingernail from the right hand? How do we feel a fingernail in the left hand? And stuff like that. So it's like a dissociation. And then after a while of dissociating, we start integrating the whole body experience. So that was pretty interesting to me. And that's why I did it several times a day for a long period of time, months and months practicing it. So after months and months and weeks of practicing it, I started to stay awake in a conscious state of mind and energetically wise, but my body was falling asleep. And I started experiencing that. Like, how does this feel? I'm totally completely relaxed, probably falling asleep. But at the same time, I was awake in my mind, in my consciousness. And I started seeing what they call the samskaras, which is the deep programming of your mind. All those good and bad programming of our childhoods, cultural programming, religious programming, cultural programming, all the programs, all the softwares that are running on our subconscious. And that was pretty interesting and spooky. Most of them were symbolically, like they came pictorically to me, like drawings, or like it was a very visual and kinesthetic experience. And some of them were spooky, some of them were really loving. And I was like, okay, I'm in my deep subconscious. It's fun, it's interesting, whatever. And after those conscious experiences of being in touch with my deep subconscious, I started waking up in dreams because I started realizing that the difference between being awake in my energetic body or subconscious body in difference or differently from being awake in my physical body. So, are we all on the same page over there, Berlin? Does anyone need more explaining or of any of these concepts? That would be a nice time to
Do we have
explain.
questions?
Yeah.
No, we are okay. Yeah,
So we're
you can
understanding
go.
all these concepts. Okay. See more people that are connected on the Zoom call. Thank you for coming. So let's go back a little bit. So discipline is pretty important. There are so many books written about this topic and how to wake up in dreams, how lucid dreaming could be a very helpful practice or resource in therapeutic processes, life, personal processes, etc. For me, it's given me the opportunity to know myself better, to heal or to process certain relationships in my life with people that have already passed or people that are alive, but I'm not longer in a relationship or they're no longer in my life. Having deep and healing conversations or even expressing my emotions in a way that I'm not ready to express them while awake and in person with some other people. And I guess that's the case for most humanity. I think the biggest resistance we have as a human collective is expressing our genuine emotions, which were pretty much repressed during childhood for most of people in the Western world. That's the only world I know so far. And I think dreaming, it's a very important practice to express our emotions. So as we heal or develop a better way to connect with our emotions, that will translate into the dream world, and we'll be more in touch and in control, in the best way to be in control of our emotions. Because whenever we wake up, and that's what I'm going to explain next, our emotional body knows what we're doing. So we will get really anxious or really excited, like, oh my God, I woke up in the dream. I'm in my own subconscious, so exciting. And then that's 3, 2, 1, you go back to unconsciousness. The dream continues. You're not longer conscious or awake in the dream. And that happens because how is our relationship with our emotional body, and how we learn to inhabit our emotions in our physical and energetic or astral body. It's key, in my personal experience, to maintain the lucidity of waking up in our dreams. So that's a good one. And everyone will ask me, like, how do you do that? Well, do a lot of therapy, learn how to connect with your emotional body, learn how to connect with your physical body. This, parts and parts and parts, how we connect with tiny, tiny different parts, like how is my eyesight right now? How is my eyeball? You know, everything. We need to be conscious of everything. We don't need to, but I guess it's a good practice, in certain, like, different times during the day. We can, like, be conscious, like, how's my lower back, how are my shoulders, how's my jaw, and, like, really give our nervous system what it needs, which is, to recognize it and try to relax it. So what else? We also talked with Eli and Carla about how in ancient times, people in all parts of the world, they gave a different relevance that we've been giving in the modern Western world in relationship to dreams. Dreams were part of any human life experience. They were as important as waking time. And that practice has been lost over the years, over the centuries. And I guess people like us and all over the world, we're recuperating that. And it's important because what we experience during the dream time, either we wake up or not during the dream, it's still experienced by their nervous system. It's still, I mean, we have a stressful dream, persecution, assassination, or looking at things that are traumatic. We're still segregating cortisol, adrenaline. That's still happening in our physical body. So why not give it an importance of what's the health, what's the quality of our dreaming health? I'm also a holistic therapist. I've been, seeing people throughout over almost 30 years, and they tell me about their dreams. They tell me about their waking life too. And it's as important because if you're not having pleasant, relaxing dreams, you're continuing the stress of your life, and you're carrying on to the dreaming state. So it's an important thing. As I read, we spend 1/3 of our lives dreaming and sleeping. So let's, like, look into that, okay? What else? Let's continue. So I'm gonna give you some tips to start waking up. Maybe they're not coming from the textbooks I've read or that we've all read. It's only from my personal experience. I'm also neurodivergent. So that's another, I think, an important tip. I'm more sensitive than most humans, but I guess we all are in the end. So I think it's going to be useful for whoever is listening to this or watching this. So firstly, and most importantly, the connection to our physical body, aka to our nervous system, see, and all the other systems in our body. Breathing, blood circulating, how we're resting, how much physical activity, if we're moving our body, or if we're sitting on a chair the entire day and not stretching. That's very important to give ourselves time to connect to our body, either in yin practices, which are more soft and slower practices, or yang practices, like, having a good power walk, going running and taking care of your knees, doing, more like Ashtanga, yoga, etc. That's very important. How we connect to our body, our physical body, will translate in how we connect to our astral or energetic or dream body when we are dreaming. It's pretty much the same. How it's my connection to how I'm feeling right now. How's my chest? How's my lower back being supported by our cushion, etc., etc. How we right now, each one of you listening, watching now, or asynchronously later, how are you sitting? How are you breathing? And how are the emotions in those parts of your body right now? If we can integrate that practice daily, you'll surely start waking up in your dream sooner than later. So another tip that I can give you, aside from, being conscious of your physical body and practicing like yoga nidra, for example, or guided meditations that will help you to connect with your physical and mental, emotional, energetic body, is being aware of day-to-day things in your life. For example, right now, I live with this cat that's taking a very pleasant nap on my lap. So, okay, now I live with Maki, the cat, and I live with Gabo, the cat, and I live here in Florida, in Buenos Aires, and we are experiencing autumn going into winter. And how's my kitchen? Which plates do I use every single day for lunch? Or which mug I prefer to drink my tea on or take my mate, different day-to-day things that will start appearing in your night to night or early morning to early morning dreams. And then you start, for example, in my case, okay, I live with 2 cats, I live by myself, I know my daily routines. And then I wake up in my dreams and I see Nina, the cat that I used to share a space and a life with, who is no longer with us, my cat Nina. So wait, where's Maki? I'm seeing Nina. Okay, maybe I'm dreaming. And that's another trigger, So whenever things that are not part of your daily routine and current life appears in your dreams, that's an indicator that you're probably dreaming. For example, I gave the example of cats, but let's talk about humans. What about people that are no longer in our lives because either they're dead or I don't have a relationship with them? If they appear, you're probably dreaming. But then you say to me, like, yeah, but that happens to me all the time. I dream with people that are no longer in my life. I dream with places, spaces that are no longer in my life or that I've never known. Well, you go back, one step back, and you start making your physical experience while waking up more conscious every day with different kind of practices, yoga nidra, for example, somatic practices that are very, very hip right now. Everyone's doing somatic exercises, moving their hips, relaxing their jaws, sighing, laughing. That's also a regulator of the nervous system, etc., etc. So another moment to ask you, does anyone over there in Berlin have any questions, or anyone on the Zoom call having any questions? Hello.
Any questions? No, not yet. No. Oh, okay. You can go on.
Okay. Well, good to know that I'm being understood. So I will go on next to one of the biggest and more recognizable experiences of waking up in one of my dreams. Oh, and last tip, I think it's good if we're not waking up in our dreams yet. It's normal, it's okay, but try to remember your dreams. That's important too. Even if you hadn't woken up, you can wake up the next morning. It's like, okay, what did I dream? Where was I? What happened? Who I was with, etc., etc. And let's include all the kingdoms of existence. Let's not only focus on humans. I think we're already over focused on humans as it is. Let's focus more on like which nature I was at, like I was surrounded by animals, insects, objects, structures, buildings. That's also very important because that gives me the dovetail into astral projection. Because if we are more aware of places, and if our astral body, which I'll talk about next, is actually going to those places before our physical body goes, we understand that we've already been there in our astral body. And that happens to me all the time. I visit places with my astral body all the time, and that prepares me when I go physically to those places. I know if it's dangerous, and danger is not only physical. It could be psychically dangerous for you or emotionally dangerous for you. So let's be aware of that. Okay, coming back. So I will talk about one of the dreams that I woke up in. It was not that long ago, but it was years ago.
Carla,
Yes.
just a minute. We have a question before you start telling us your dream, okay? Yeah. Can you hear?
Not really. Not that well.
Can you? Yes, because sound is in my hand. Here, you can do. Hi,
Hello.
Carla. It's Rocio.
Hi, Rocio.
I arrived a few minutes late, and then I understood everything, most of what you're saying. But then I was actually asking myself, what does it mean to be woken up in your dream? What do you mean by being woken up?
What do I mean? I love it. Loves it. What do I mean?
Like
Yeah. Like, what would be the definition of waking up in a dream? That's your question? Is that the question? Like,
yes.
okay,
Mm.
good. Okay. Whenever you can. Yeah. Okay. Waking up in a dream for me and for what I've read, that's been the experience of other humans, is being aware that you're dreaming, that you're not in a state of the material or physical dimension, like day-to-day life. For example, now we're presumably, allegedly, we're not dreaming right now, or are we? You know, no, we're not. For most of people, for me, I would say I have a lot of Pisces in my astrological chart. Of course, we're dreaming. We're in a dream. Life is a dream. But let's talk more like common sense, which is also like an ideology, common sense. But now we're not dreaming. Now we're awake. We're connected to the physical plane. I'm gonna pour some water on my mate. I'm gonna be having the kinesthetic experience of drinking liquid. My five senses are aware that I'm having a material physical experience. I'm awake. But what happens when we are actually dreaming? That if it's your case, Rocio, maybe you haven't woken up in a dream yet, but maybe you will soon. You know the difference between being asleep and dreaming and being awake in the physical dimension, right? So waking up in a dream, it's pretty much as being awake in the physical, but you have woken up in this another dimension that shares certain physical laws, as you can still have an emotional body, you can still feel anguish, you can still feel excitement, feel love, or you can still feel fear for your life. You can also have thoughts during your dream. Either you're awake or not. But when you awake in a dream, you're waking up, you can realize that time feels different. The sensations in your body, which in the dream state, it's not actually your physical body, though your nervous system is feeling that. But when you wake, the sensations you're having, it's in your astral or energetic body. And that's a weird sensation for most lucid dreamers. So we learn how to get used to being in a different dimension or different dimensions and learning how to stay awake. Because as soon as you get too excited or as soon as you are fearful of what you're experiencing in that lucid dreaming state, you go back to unconsciousness. The dream continues. You wake up into reality, into the material plane the next morning, and you're like, oh, I had a weird dream. That was weird. I could maybe for a few seconds I could recognize that I was there, but then went back to subconscious state, and the next morning you realize that that was just a dream. Was it just a dream? It's never just a dream. It's the relationship and deep contact with your own subconscious. So you have a lot of information there about yourself, about deep patterns that are still manipulating you from the deep subconscious that we need. And it's a duty as a personal growth experience to learn which patterns are still manipulating us. Is that more clearer? Is it better to understand it?
Yes, I think yes.
Yeah, I have experience of this is the dream, but that was I don't know what else.
You realized you were dreaming?
Like this must be a dream.
Yeah.
Something more like a reflection because this kind of or the intuition that this was a dream, but I don't know what else. Where to go? Like, okay, this is a dream. What can I do? What can yeah? What should I do with this?
What can we do? Whenever I wake up, when I was younger before, I was like, what can I do? I can go to Chris Cornell house and have a deep conversation with Chris Cornell. You can start choosing with whom to have conversations with, right? We can do so many things while dreaming. It's crazy. It's like I would be having like a 3-hour conversation with you guys if I started like opening all these different tags of topics, because when I started experiencing this, of course, firstly it was with people that I know, my family, my friends, and then I started having experiences with people that I don't know. Sometimes celebrities. I'm really into music, so I love musicians, and it's my dream to have, for example, conversations with the musicians that I admire, and I have done that in my dreams, and it's very very fun and rewarding, Okay. So now that we're clear about the difference between waking up in a dream or waking up to reality, to the material plane, I'll start describing how I realized that I was dreaming in one dream, which brings us different topics in terms of how we can also use this practice of lucid dreaming or waking up consciously in dreams as a therapeutic process to heal certain unclosed cycles in our life experience. For example, healing relationships, completing certain processes of traumatic experiences in our lives, accidents, illness of our own body or illnesses of our loved ones, etc., losses, it's etc. It's a very vast field of topics. So, as I already told you, I'm from Chile, but I've been living here in Buenos Aires for almost 2 decades. And I was dreaming here in Buenos Aires that I was back home at my family's apartment in Santiago de Chile. And I was hanging out with a group of friends. This was all subconscious. I wasn't awake at this point of the dream. I was just dreaming, just letting it's like watching a movie, you're watching a movie, but at the same time, you're a part of that movie when we're dreaming unconsciously or subconsciously. I haven't woken up yet at this point. So I was hanging out with a few friends that are from there, from Chile, at my family's apartment in Santiago. And suddenly I started hearing my dad vomiting and making this weird, painful sounds. So of course I stressed. I'm pretty sure during that point my nervous system was stressed too in my physical body. I was like, "What's going on with my daddy? Daddy, are you okay?" So I went to his room, my mom's and my dad's room, and my mom says, don't worry, I'm taking care of your daddy. He's okay. He's having a bad episode, but he'll be fine." I was stressed. I was worried. So I went back to my friends and I said, maybe it's better if we leave because my dad's not feeling well. And also one of the dog that I used to have during that period of my time, which was my adolescence. So I was exploring an inside, looking back, I was exploring an adolescent part of my life in my subconscious in that dream. So I went back to my friends and I said, I think it's better if we go. It's pretty stressful here. So we left the house, the apartment. We jumped into the elevator and I was surrounded by 3 friends. So suddenly the face of one of my friends, this is pretty common during dreams, changed. So it was Carolina at a point, and then it turned to Daniela. So when you're dreaming and you're not conscious that you're dreaming, that it's like, yeah, of course, that happens all the time in the dream reality. So you not really question it. But suddenly I started questioning it, like, how is this possible that this person changed her face? It's 2 different people in one body. And then as we were going down the elevator, I realized that, wait, why is my mom in my apartment here in Santiago? My mom died a few years ago. She's not alive anymore. Neither is the dog. Wow, I am dreaming. So I woke up because of the notion of there's no possibility of these people talking to me or having this experience right now. So I woke up. And at first, it wasn't the first time that I had woken up in a dream, but it's still pretty weird to wake up. I felt uncomfortable in my own body. Reality started shaking. It seemed like, ooh. So I told myself, be calm, breathe in with your dream lungs. You can do this. You're connected to your physical body. Have a deep breath and just don't try to modify anything. Don't try to go and visit Chris Cornell. Not today. Just stay in that elevator. Keep chilling with your friends. And that's what I did. I just continue the dream. So we went out of the elevator and took my dad's car. And my friend, another friend, Josecito, who's in that dream too, he didn't change his face. He's stayed Josecito for the entirety of the dream. He's like, I'm gonna drive. I'm like, yeah, you drive. So we're just trying to breathe, chilling, like, where are we going? I sat next to him in the car, and then I just couldn't help myself. I just looked at him and I said, Josecito, I just need to tell you that I'm awake and that you're not Josecito. You're the projection of Josecito in my dream. I'm so excited. I'm woken up. Where are we going? Let's go. And I got too excited. Then I went back to the subconscious state. The dream continued. And the next morning I woke up, which it could be just 5, this whole sequence in the linear time could be like 1 minute, but it felt like 30, 40 minutes. And I woke up like laughing at myself, like you couldn't contain yourself. Like, that shows something about my personal life experience. Sometimes I'm too impulsive. Well, most of the times I'm too, people that know me, they're like, oh, you're such an Aries. I'm a very impulsive person. Because maybe if I had contained myself and just, went with the flow, went to the next part of the dream, like maybe we were going to another bar or disco to dance. But I got too excited. And I want to know if whoever's over there have had that experience of getting too excited and then you go back to the subconscious state.
Anyone here? No?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay. The day of the opening, the morning of the opening, that was last Friday, I was also dreaming. It's a kind of similar situation that I was hanging out with a couple of friends, and suddenly came a friend that he was looking so very radiant and very happy, and it took my attention. And then I realized, but he's Diego. Diego died a couple of years ago. And then I realized, okay, this is a dream, and it was amazing. And the next thing I did is, okay, and what should I do now? And then I had this feeling, okay, I can't walk in any direction because I can't get lost, you know? And then I was just like, yeah, hanging out in the street, and then decided to go back. And it happened something very funny, that when I was like coming back to the point where I was before, I crossed the same person on the street. It was like a woman carrying a big teddy bear, and we look at each other like kind of, I know you already. I have seen you already. You know. It was it was very nice, and I think it's like my second lucid dream, because the first one was the last year. And it was a little bit like frightened, and I think fear is kind of blocking this kind of experiences. But I was very happy to have this experience parallel to this project, and of course very happy to hear you talking right now.
Thank you.
So,
You too.
But I would like to add that it happens so spontaneously. I didn't do anything in particular to provoke it. And it was during, like, I woke up, let's say, in the morning, so at 6 o'clock, because now it's very light. We have many light. And then I go to sleep again, and during 1 hour, I had this experience.
I think you brought a very interesting point, which is letting it happen. Oh, can you, yeah, mute, yeah, because I was hearing myself back again. Letting it happen, being spontaneous. I mean, we are eager and we want to wake up in our dreams and have lucid dreams, etc. But at the same time, it's the same as I was sharing with Carla and Eli. It's like the practice, for example, of music. You have your discipline, you practice as often as you can, every day, every week. And then when you start playing, emotions start expressing, your soul, your spirit starts being evident through that instrument, through that voice, through whatever you're experiencing as an art expression, right? And the same happens with dreaming and lucid dreaming. You do your exercises, whatever works for you. And then if we're hyper focused on, okay, tonight I'm gonna wake up in my dreams, it's probably not gonna happen. It's gonna happen when you least expect it, when you're really relaxed. And it's pretty much like a life lesson. Things happen naturally, organically, spontaneously. They happen when we least expect it. We just have to be prepared for that. I think that's another great tip. Let's be prepared. Let's know that it's a possibility that whatever night we might wake up or doing whatever nap. So that's a good one. Okay. So how does the practice of lucid dreaming can help us to open another portal or pathway into astral projection? And what is astral projection? Many people have talked about this, and many books have been written, and many cultures, ancient cultures, have talked about this too. For me personally, astral projection, it's, as lucid dreaming is, another way to have more life experiences and also to be prepared into the physical world. Because during your astral projections or astral trips, you can visit and know people, visit places and know people that you haven't met yet in your waking reality, but you will. Here comes an opportunity to talk about this concept of linear time and circular or quantum time. So, our physical body inhabits a dimension which is material, physical, and is governed by different laws. Laws that have been validated by central sciences systems and laws that have been validated by alternative, more esoteric or mystic systems. But there are laws, and we're sure that, for example, if I slap myself too hard, I'm probably going to get bruised. If I let something drop, it's probably going to go down and break, right? Simple, simple things. And one of those laws is the law of time, linear time. I can only speak one word before and after the other. I cannot have quantum circle lines of communication or linguistic communication. I can only speak one word before and after the other. That's linear. But in other dimensions, where we have transcended the physical experience of life, we start getting in touch with circular time or quantum time. That means that things can be happening at the same time, simultaneously, and it depends on our degree of consciousness or what we define or determine as what we are ready to perceive right now. We will have that experience projected or shown to us. Different things happening at the same time. That could be very traumatic for some people, so that maybe that's why our mind protects us and is not allowing us to experience that. But as we start practicing, being more open to those different weird experiences, we will start having this experience of things happening at the same time and being able to perceive what's going on at the same time. So astral projection, or the astral body, has the experience of the circular or quantum time. So we are able to go back in time to our past, being the present, or go to the future from linear time perspective and meet people in the astral field or quantum field that we haven't met yet in the material or the physical, but we will. And I had so many experiences to share to you about this. I've met most of my tarot students through this practice, meeting people in my dreams or astral projection, and then meeting them in the material world and having a tarot experience, learning tarot, etc. What it's important for me to share is that let's not point towards astral projecting if we haven't woken up or are more naturally in relationship with our dreams first, because the astral, it's infinite, and it could be dangerous for our psychological experience. You could see things that you're not ready to see, though our mind, our subconscious, protects us all the time. It will not let you go that far, but sometimes we are negligent. How to say negligente? Like we do not take care of ourselves correctly, and we can like overflow. So what it's been interesting to me is that first, know the experience of differentiating when I'm awake in the material, when I'm awake in my dreams. Waking up in my dreams, I know how it feels. I know the physical sensation, the psychological, mental sensation, the emotional sensation. Okay, I'm waking up. I am talking to myself. I am talking to my own subconscious. Whoever I meet here in this personal subconscious state of dreaming, it's myself, my own projections of other people, what other people have imprinted in me. And I can talk to myself, I can heal the relationship to myself. And notice after waking up in my dream and coming back to the material world that everything that I think, that I see in others, it's pretty much myself. And that has helped me in personal growth. Project less, blame less, and take more responsibility in my own adulthood and emotional maturity. And that's a big, big thing. And that's why I am giving this talk, so more people can realize how important lucid dreaming could be, because you realize that everything that happens in the material, it will get projected to your subconscious, and it will define the relationship to yourself and how you treat others, not only humans, but animals, insects, plants, fungi, everything. And then after we've realized what is waking up in our dreams, what it is to be conscious of our lucid dreaming, then we can go to astral projection, which is our energetic body that feels pretty much as our physical body, but it's energetic, it's subtle, that travel through dimensions, subtle dimensions with different laws, similar to the material, but different at the same time. And you can go and visit places in the material world with your astral body. You can meet other astral bodies. You can understand things that probably you will never understand in this material world too. And that's another topic, but I wanted to just open it a little bit today so people can understand that lucid dreaming and astral projection are pretty much interconnected. And it's beautiful to travel consciously and have experiences with interdimensionals, which are entities or thought forms that exist, that are not incarnated in the material, but they exist in this interdimensional states. And you can have a very interesting life experience, knowing that what has been taught to us, that it's real, it's not really only that. There's more to see. At the same time, know our limits, know our emotional boundaries, know our psychological boundaries, because it could be very traumatic if you're not ready. So, does anyone have any questions about this? Because it's an interesting topic and not very known, at least mainstream wise.
Questions? No? Yes? A ver, decime. It's really interesting that you explain here. It's really fascinating. And I want to know more about it because you tell that this lucid dreams are you are in yourself, you are talking with yourself, and then when you are traveling, as when you make astral travel, when you are traveling astral, I confused. Sí, así te escucho mejor.
I can't hear her very well.
Yes, for me, it's very interesting on what did you tell, and I want to know more about this reality. You explain us that this. Sí, decirle en español. Sí, te lo digo en español. Claro, porque es horrible. Un ratito. No quiero torturarte. A ver, pues esto que. O sea, que dijiste que cuando... Uy, tampoco me saldrá en español ahora.
No, que la diferencia que hay entre estos viajes,
El sueño
el
lúcido,
sueño
el viaje
lúcido y el
astral.
viaje astral, no es que en el sueño lúcido estás como trabajando contigo mismo, estás en ti, ¿no? Y cuando trabajas, cuando estás viajando astralmente, ¿qué sucede allí, no? ¿Qué clase de realidad es eso? Porque estás también, no sé cómo hacer la pregunta, pero ¿entiendes lo que?
¿Cómo se diferencian, sería?
¿Qué sería exacto? Sí, la diferencia entre estas dos realidades, porque estás siempre en tu
ámbito.
Es una excelente pregunta. A marvelous question. Maravillosa. Sí. So, I'll continue in English for...
Yes. So the question is, so to clarify a little bit, what would be the difference between lucid dreaming on astral projection? Because as you talk now, or what I understood is that when you are lucid dreaming, you are in your own subconscious mind. But you mentioned something that you can like meet people in advance or go to places. So what could be the relationship between astral projection and what we know as waking physical reality, something like that? What is the connection? That is the question.
What kind of reality is
The astral.
okay. Yeah. What kind of, but because you told about you meet other beings and
yeah, beings.
Other beings.
Yes.
Or
Beings, entities, extraterrestrials. Some other time we'll talk about extraterrestrials. That's a very nice topic to me too. Okay. Let's do an analogy from the material into the material. Because whatever happens in the material, I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna mute you. I muted you. Okay. It will happen also in a sort of the same manner in the astral or the dream world, which is two different things. For me, dream is, as we already shared, your own subconscious talking to itself, to oneself. Then when we go to the astral, it's going into the collective subconscious, and we can get in touch the same way as we can touch someone to feel the boundary, the border, to other individual subconscious in the collective subconscious. So let's do a material analogy. It's like meditating or being by yourself in a physical space. For example, right now I'm alone in my house I'm the only human in my house. So I can regulate whatever I do, if I want to speak louder, if I want to speak more quiet, if I want to eat, if I don't want to eat. I am in control of my life experience right now. But when some other human comes to my place or I go outside and start interacting with other people, things change. I still have my body, my physical body. I still have the same nervous system, but that nervous system will react differently to different stimuli from what other people are doing. So there are two different experiences, being by oneself than interacting with society or other humans or other kingdoms, right? In the dream versus the astral, it's the same. When you're only dreaming, it's like you're staying in your house, in your own subconscious, in your own room, in the bed where you are, and whatever's going on inside of you, it's in the physical only happening here in your bed, for example. But then when you astral project, whatever is happening here, it will continue happening, but you will start moving through physical space with your energetic body and start being in touch with other people dreaming. Maybe you can go visit someone to their physical space and interact, and that someone will continue being in their own little bed, but you'll visit them, and then you could come back to your bed. So in parapsychology, they have these terms called soma, which is the physical body, soma, term physical body, and the metasoma or extrasoma, which is the energetic body. And whenever we're dreaming, it's like that metasoma, it like detaches from the physical. So your physical body is asleep, it's resting, hopefully relaxing and recuperating from stressful life events. But your metasoma, it's detached. And it has, of course, a connection to your subconscious. Then that metasoma can stay near the physical, or it can really detach and start traveling through space and through time to other material spaces and touching, literally touching other subconscious, other dream experiences. So, in order to understand and feel and experience the difference between staying in near my physical body or actually traveling through space and time and having different experiences with other energetic bodies, we first need to wake up in our own dreams to understand the difference first of being woken up in material reality and waking up in our dreams. And then we go to the next step of astral projection. I have a lot of friends that wake up in their dreams and they're astral project. There are mediums, people that have psychic capabilities to perceive the more subtle spheres of existence. And whenever we dream about each other or whenever we encounter in the astral plane, we call each other, we tell each other, oh, hey, Marie, I dreamed of you last night. Oh, I had a dream. What did you dream? What did you dream? And sometimes the experience is pretty similar, and sometimes it has a lot of influence of your own subconscious. So your subconscious will fill the blank spaces in terms of where are you, what other people are surrounding you, what's the scenario that's going on. But sometimes the experience it's pretty similar. For example, last time I had this experience, which was an astral experience with my friend Beatriz. She dreamt that we were at a party at her house, and I dreamt that we were at a party in some other place. She dreamt that the house was full of people that she didn't know. I dreamt that I was surrounded by people that I did know. So it was similar elements of the dream, but we were actually interacting. She had an experience with me that it was emotionally unpleasant for her because I was angry at her. And in my experience, I was also angry at her. I didn't want her to be there. Dije in Chilean, like, sal de acá, weona, ya te calmae. She was having a tantrum in my dream. And in her dream, I was having the tantrum.
¿Ah? Te quedaste congelada.
I know.
Ah.
Hello. Okay, are we back?
Sí.
Are we back? Are we back in reality? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Okay.
Acá estamos.
Okay. So I go back. I was explaining that we were like experiencing opposite experiences with my friend Beatriz. She, in her dream, I was angry at her. I was behaving like a child. And in my dream, my astral experience, she was behaving as a child. So we were like opposing each other. It was our own subconscious, each individual subconscious having an experience, but we were touching in the astral plane. And I have so many other experiences of meeting people in the astral and then meeting them in reality, in the material plane. It's a long topic, but we could maybe do it some other time. So
Okay, I think, yeah, you went through very interesting topics that also we would like to hear about. And I don't know, do you have any more question or? One more question. Yes. Huh? We don't have to. I have Do you listen? Can you listen? No, podés venir. Yeah. Yeah. I say I have one more question, but maybe it has nothing to do. But I see that you might also have some answers. Otherwise, maybe not. I had maybe 3 experiences in my life when I woke up and my body was slept. And it still was a dream because I still could see someone. But I also saw the room where I was, and it was like like a camera when you film infrarrojo, like it was dark, but I was seeing almost like through this camera.
But then you were dreaming.
I was dreaming, but I was aware that I was awake, but I couldn't move my body.
Yes,
And it's super, I got anxious.
Yes, of course.
Because you feel like you're trapped between two places.
Yes.
And you don't understand why your body doesn't respond.
Yes.
And I was always curious what happened.
I don't know if
It
could be sleep paralysis. I don't
Yeah.
know.
yes, it sounds like sleep paralysis, or maybe even a night terror. Night terror. Yeah, I've had plenty of those. Pretty spooky. Don't like being paralyzed by my own nervous system. Not likey, but it happens unfortunately, or it's unfortunate learning experience. Learning to stay calm during paralysis, because I think every night our body paralyzes itself for a few seconds, like the nervous system regulating itself, going from the parasympathetic to the sympathetic, back and forth. Paralysis is on the parasympathetic side of the autonomous nervous system, and it's a natural response of being alive. But when we are conscious during a paralysis, it can be very, very traumatic for the psyche, more than for the body itself, because the body it's our normal response. It's designed to get paralyzed every now and then. It's a way of our nervous system of protecting us. So yes, next time we feel paralyzed, just activate. Of course, this is gained by practice, but we can activate our inner voice of calmness. Yeah, be calm. Try to breathe. You're okay. You're having this experience, unfortunately, but it's happening to you. Activating the internal motherly or companion voice. It's very important to have that activated in us. In tarot language, we call that the arcana number 2, which is the high priestess, or the papes for the Marseille tarot. Is the inner intuitive voice, or even a witness voice that's bigger than all the other voices that talk sometimes very badly onto us. There's a wiser and more loving voice inside that we can learn how to activate and learn how to have it more presence in our lives. It's present, so we learn how to speak to us in a motherly, loving way, even during paralysis, even during any type of life experience, even if we are awake, like learning how to calm ourselves down. And that's also it could be developed, learning how to talk to other people that way, and requiring that from our loved ones. I want you to talk to me more lovingly, with more patience. It's very important in any type of situation. More so during paralysis, that it will happen, and it's not very nice, but it will happen again. So next time, remember, you can accompany yourself and promote the practice of talking and being talked to lovingly. It's very important for mental health, and humanity needs that a lot, all the time. So with this, if there's any other questions, I would like to finish this talk. It was very interesting, and what I can say to end this is that it's very important for self-knowledge and of the exercise of our free will in this world, to get in touch with our dreams. They say a lot about ourselves, a lot of our inner and more deep subconscious patterns that is joyous to learn about, so they can quit manipulating us, make it more conscious. Our deep wounded soul or wounded inner child that can also be accessed by waking up in our dreams, or at least remembering our dreams and giving them more importance in our daily life. I see you, Ellie. Yay.
Otra vez porque no se escuchaba. Gracias,
Yay.
Carla. Okay, yeah, thank you very much. It was lovely. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your experience with us today.
Thank you for having me. It was an honor. It was a great time. And let's continue dreaming. The Dream Society. It's an amazing project.
Yeah. You can, if anybody would like to contact you, you can give your Insta account.
Yes. My Instagram account is Keto, like the Greek for hand. Keto with a Q. Tarot, like tarot. Keto tarot. Because I'm also a palm reader. If it's not enough mysticism for today.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great evening. Bye-bye.